Hello YouTube, once again. And the reason why I say once again, not just because I just did a video earlier, but I have been trying to do a video on this knife now for, I just said it, 4 times. Me and my wife can sit here and laugh about this because my wife did help me build, she did build me a little makeshift studio box to do these videos in. The lighting's a little better. I can already tell just by looking through the camera. But the problem is the thing kept falling apart. So I did get it fixed, and we are on. Here we go. Earlier I did a review on what to date is my favorite knife, and it is the Kaiser Intrepid, a Ray Laconico collaboration with Kaiser. Absolutely love that knife. Just want to give a little update. I had said that the only problem that I had with that knife was the pivot becoming loose after flipping it several times. And as all you knife lovers know, we love to flip our knives. And if the pivot becomes loose and we have to keep tightening it after about 30 to 40 flips, then it's going to be a problem. So what I did is I removed the pivot, put a little Loctite, and I will keep you informed tomorrow and let you know how that actually worked. Otherwise, I will be contacting China, I guess, because that's where Kaiser is located. So we'll see how that works out. But I really love that knife. But anyway, let's talk about the knife at hand. I'm going to follow a little guideline on this knife. I kind of want to give you my overall impressions first about this knife. Then we'll get into some specifications, some weight, length, all that kind of good stuff, blade steel. But I really want to go over my overall impressions first because it's going to take the longest. The reason being is I'm halfway with this knife, meaning I half love this knife and I half hate this knife. Hate is a strong word, but there's just something about the, you know what, let's just get on with it before I get upset talking about it. What I really want to talk about in this knife is, the first of all, the sheer beauty of this knife. This is obviously the CRKT G.S.D, which stands for Get Shit Done, or Get Stuff Done, depending on your language barrier there. It's a beautiful knife. The shape, the flowing lines, it's absolutely gorgeous. It screams Liang Ma. And the reason why it screams Liang Ma is because Liang Ma was actually the designer. But anyway, enough of my sit-down jokes, because I'm not funny enough to be a stand-up comedian. This knife is phenomenal. It's got the lines are phenomenal. The blade is phenomenal. It's just a beautiful knife. I love the way it feels in hand. I mean, just the shape, the blade length. I'm not gonna get into specifications yet, but the blade length is perfect for an EDC for me. Although I do like bigger knives now that I have carried, the 5.0620 tolerance and now the Kaiser Intrepid. This one is a perfect size for EDCs. The handle length is perfect. I love the pocket clip. It's not one of them generic spring clips. It's actually a 3D milled pocket clip. And it sits fairly deep, which I like. As many of you know, I'm not a person who likes my knife to sit way out of my pocket. It's not for stealth or hiding reasons of the knife. Everybody knows you have a pocket. Like I said before, everybody knows you have a knife in your pocket when they see a clip sticking out of it, whether it's sitting deep in your pocket or not. The reason why I like my pocket clips to sit deep is so I don't lose the knife. I like it to sit deeper in my pocket. It makes me feel a little more comfortable about the knife being in my pocket. So I absolutely love this clip because it actually sits just perfect. Gives you just enough to grab it out, but still sits deep enough to where it's not going to fall out. Okay. There's the G.S.D. As you can see, let me see if my zoom will actually work under these lights. It does ride on IKBS ball bearings, and I'm not going to get too into that. I just want to point that out to you here. There's a little symbol right there. It does ride on AKBS ball bearings, and like I said, I don't want to get too into that yet because I haven't got to my gripes yet, and that happens to be one of them. Basically, I love the pocket clip. I love the shape of the knife. I love the length of the knife. I love the handle. I love everything about this knife as far as looks go. Then we got to get into some of the other stuff that I really don't like about this knife. Okay. This one sort of goes with the looks of the knife. It's going to be how thin it is. Now, a lot of people love thin knives, as do I. This one, for being as small it is very thin. I mean, my hand literally gobbles this knife. I am swallowing this knife, and you can see I still have plenty. I mean, my fingers are touching the meat of my hand in this with this knife. It just disappears. I mean, I feel like I'm not even holding on to nothing with this knife, and that sort of bothers me a little bit. I want to be able to feel like I am actually holding a knife in my hand when I have it in my hand. I want to make sure that I have control of this knife, and when it's that thin, I feel like I don't have control. I feel like I don't have function capabilities of the knife. There's just several things that go along with that I don't like. I don't like how thin this knife is. While we're here, let me go ahead and show you the lockup on this knife, because that was one thing I forgot to tell you that I did like on the knife. Let's see if I can get my camera to zoom in here. There it is. Okay, so you can pretty much see that there. The lockup is very early, and I love that. Trust me, there's still enough on there. It is being held very securely, but it is very early, and that is one thing I do love. So we'll go ahead and chalk that up on things I do love on this knife. Okay, so back to the things now that I don't like about this knife. As I said before, the handle thinness. It's just way too thin. It needs to be thicker. I think a knife of this size and of this, the way it looks, a little bit thicker handle would not be bad on this knife. I just think it would make this knife so much more grippable, if that's a word. And that's one gripe I have about it. Second gripe, and probably the most and main gripe I have about this knife, is the IKBS ball bearing system. Now, I did a review on the CRKT Hootenanny. This is the CRKT G.S.D. I know they're capable of doing good IKBS ball bearings. For some reason, these ones absolutely suck. Now, this is my second knife. I actually returned the first G.S.D. I got because I thought there was a problem with the opening of this knife and the ball bearings. Come to find out, it's not. The detent is horrible. Let me show you. See? Bam. There it opens. Okay. But you really got to get on this knife. I'm talking, I am using all my force, and I'm actually putting indentions in my finger to try to get this to open. See, when you just regular light switch it, it barely wants to open. And I don't know what the problem is with this knife, but that's just the way it goes. You can preload and hold it down tight. Still, nothing. I mean, this knife just does not want to open. There it goes. So that's the main gripe I have about this knife, is the ability to open and close this knife. The closing, I gotta say, is fine. Being that the lockup's so early, it actually closes fairly easily. But when you try to open this knife, that one it did first try. Very nice. There we go. There we go. Now, I could go on all night trying to show you how this knife opens. Now, when you can only open it 3 out of 3 or 5 opens and only one time that it opens, then you know something's wrong with the detent. I'm not really sure what to do about this. I'm thinking about selling the knife right away because honestly, I don't like that. I want to be able to open my knife immediately. And it puts a bad blister on your finger. I actually have a blister on my finger now from trying this knife since I've had it, trying to open and close it. There it goes, open to one flip, but there it won't. There it won't. And like I said, it's absolutely ridiculous. I hate how this knife opens. And, I don't want to go on too long about that because it's just taking up video time. And it's really it's something that's not too important to a lot of people, I guess. But to me, it is. So if you wanted my honest opinion on this knife, there it is. I hate the way the knife opens. Okay. Let's get into some specifications. The knife is nice. Once it opens, it is nice. You're looking at I believe it's a 3.3 inch blade. So a little over 3¼ inches long, which is nice. It's a nice blade. It's got nice grinds on it. I like the big thick swedge on the top. And it came razor sharp, actually. So it's really nice the way it came. Let's see. The blade steel is AUS-8, which, is a pretty good budget steel. I believe that AUS-8 has a Rockwell hardness of, 58 to 60? No, about 57 to 59 on this one. So, not too bad. It's decent. It's doable. AUS-8 is a good budget, Asian steel. This knife was made in China. The thickness of this knife is 0.12 inches. Again, that is just too thin by far. Anybody with a small to medium-sized hand would probably love this knife. But us larger guys, I'm 6'2", 260 pounds. I hate it. I cannot stand the way this knife feels in my hand. I feel like I'm going to lose it in my hand, which is weird. It's a weird feeling, and it's weird to think of. The closed length is 4.30 inches. So right there, you're looking at almost 4.5 inches. And again, that's not too bad, I guess. There is, like I said, I wear an extra large glove. There is a little bit of the knife sticking out still. So it's not as if, the length is too short, I guess. It's doable for me. It's just the thinness of the knife. The overall length of this knife is 7.69 inches. So you're looking a little over 7.5 inches. And, that's a good EDC knife. Like I said, anyone with a small to medium-sized hand is going to love this knife. I'll tell you that the handle material is 420 J2 stainless steel. So, I mean, it's decent. You don't really need the best stainless steel for your knife handle. Titanium would have been nice, but again, this is a budget folder. I believe the going rate on this knife right now is about $60, anywhere from 60 to 65 bucks. So, it's a good price for a decent size, for a decent folder. There's really not much more I have to say about this knife, just for the fact that, I'm a little upset with it, but at the same time, I love it. And I know my wife's probably looking at me in the corner of her eye like, how can you love it and be upset with it at the same time? Well, us knife guys have our likes and our dislikes. And I got to tell you that I really wish it was a little beefier. And I wish that the flipping action was a little more smooth. It does open when you push really hard, but you do get the blister. And I just don't like that. So let's check the smoothness of the closing. Bam, there we go. So finally it closed. It's just not a smooth knife. And I hate to say it. I don't know why. The Hoot Nanny was $40. And that one was smooth, as smooth could be. This one has good detent when you're lowering it into the handle. But as far as letting the blade fall on itself, the ball bearing system in this knife absolutely sucks. So, as I do with all my knives, I give them a rating between 1 and 5. I would give this one about a 3.5. That's probably the lowest rating out of any knife review I've done yet. And no, I'm not going to keep this knife. I'm actually going to post it on eBay and I'm going to sell it. And I'm not telling you guys out there that are watching this not to purchase this knife, because it is a beautiful, beautiful knife. It looks phenomenal. And, I'm sure it could be a good use knife for a lot of people out there. Just not for me, okay? So, I wish I could give it a better rating. I really wanted to love this knife. My wife, who just sneezed in the background there, bless you, honey, does know that I wanted this knife really bad. We talked about it, and I was like, can I please get this knife? And she did let me get this knife, and now I feel horrible because I hate it. So, lesson learned. Listen to your wife, okay? And if she says no the first time, do not do it. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, that's YouTube. That's pretty much all I have to say about this knife. I pretty much went over all the specifications. One more thing. Let's look at the centering of this knife. The centering is not bad. I actually would say that's really decent for a production knife. It gets kind of off up here a little bit, but you you can't really gripe for 60 bucks. It's pretty good. Oh, and the jimping. The jimping is really nice. It's subtle, but it is still there. And it works. So I got to give a little thumbs up on the jimping as well. So the jimping's good. There's a little bit of jimping on the bottom here for you to kind of grab onto for the reverse grip. But again, my hand swallows this knife up so much that I would be scared to use it in the reverse grip. I would think that I would cut myself. And quite frankly, I'm scared to use it in any task for that same reason. So yeah, a big 3.5 stars for this knife. If I were to do a 1 out of 5, and YouTube, I give you the opportunity to own this knife. Bones13 is my YouTube sign on. Look up Bones13, and this knife will be for sale. I'm probably going to post it for about 60 bucks. It's going to be about $3 to $5 cheaper than anywhere else you'll get it, and it's never been used. So, look it up. I'll be right back at you with another knife video real shortly. Thank you very much. Please like my videos and subscribe. Take care.